The night my water broke in the hospital parking lot, I was completely alone because my husband was off loving someone else. My name is Lauren Clark. 5 years ago, in the bitter cold of a Toronto March, I found myself pregnant, heartbroken, and suddenly without the partner who had promised to stand beside me. I stand at the podium of the Fairmont Royal York's Grand Ballroom, the company leadership award cool in my hands. Camera flashes punctuate the moment as I scan the crowd, and my custom navy dress swishing gently against my legs. That's when I spot him, Jeff, near the back, bourbon clutched in his frozen hand, his expression a mixture of disbelief and regret. Our eyes meet briefly. His widen with shock. Mine remain steady. If someone had told me on that icy night, 5 years ago, that I'd be here, accepting this award while my ex-husband watched from the cheap seats, I might have laughed through my tears. 5 years earlier, Jeff and I were just another ambitious couple in downtown Toronto. We rented a 2-bedroom walk-up on Queen Street East, steps from the Leslieville bakery with those almond croissants I craved constantly after becoming pregnant. We both worked at the same fast-growing tech startup, Jeff in software operations, me in project management. We'd met at an industry mixer, falling into easy banter about vacation policies and the Blue Jays' playoff chances. The pregnancy was unplanned but welcomed. At first, we assembled the crib, stocked up on prenatal vitamins, and fielded weekly baby name suggestions from Jeff's mother. But as my due date approached, the distance between us grew. Jeff started working late, always on his phone, always one more Slack message, or just need to debug this with the Seattle team. One Wednesday afternoon, 3 weeks before my due date, I was slicing oranges for lunch when my phone buzzed with a new voicemail. No caller ID. "Hey, it's me." Jeff's voice crackled, urgent but soft. "Don't worry. I told her I had to work late. I'll stay until midnight. She's too tired to notice. I love you. See you soon." The orange slipped from my hand, juice spraying across the counter. In the background of the message, a woman's laugh, definitely not mine. With trembling hands, I checked his text using the password he'd drunkenly revealed on New Year's, 1234 Jeff. There I found messages to someone labeled simply N, hundreds of them, some explicit, some tender. A parallel life being built while I grew our child. That evening, I confronted him the moment he walked through the door, snow still melting in his dark hair. "Jeff, we need to talk, now." He dropped his bag, looking annoyed rather than concerned. "Not tonight, okay? I just walked in the door. Could you at least pretend? Or is your friend from work the only one you have energy for?" His face changed, he knew. "Lauren, don't start. Don't start. I heard your message. Don't lie to me. Who is she?" He sighed. Not angry, not apologetic, just tired. "Her name's Natalie. She's on the product team. I didn't mean for it to get serious, but..." He shrugged as if discussing the weather, rather than demolishing our future. "But I'm due in 3 weeks. Our baby..." "This isn't working, Lauren," he cut in, voice hardening. "You retreat into your work. Maybe we both did. I don't know what I want anymore." I wanted to scream, to beg. Instead, a cold resolve settled over me like ice on a February lake. "Get out. Go. I'll pack your things. Don't come back. Tonight." For a moment, he looked surprised. Then his lips twisted. In that instant, I saw the stranger he'd become. He grabbed his bag and left, the door clicking shut behind him. The next 3 days passed in a fog. I ignored Marie's gentle voicemails, stared at Jeff's Instagram showing nights out with Natalie, and watched Toronto's gray February press against my windows. At 2 a.m., on the third night, contractions started. Freezing rain lashed the window panes as I tried repeatedly to reach Jeff. 13 calls, straight to voicemail. On the 13th, I checked Instagram stories. There he was, tagged at the Drake Hotel bar, arm around Natalie, laughing into the night. I closed my eyes, breathed deeply, and gathered my hospital bag. Each step down those 3 flights of stairs felt like a mile. At the curb, I waved with one gloved hand for a Beck taxi crawling through the snow. "Mount Sinai Hospital, please," I told the driver, my voice steadier than I felt. "Labor and delivery entrance." In the hospital parking lot, surrounded by the blue glow of emergency lights, my water broke. I pressed my palm against my belly, whispering to my unborn daughter, "We've got this, Grace. It's just you and me now." The labor was long, the pain searing through every muscle. Nurses moved efficiently around me. The monitor beeped. A hollow rhythm. No family, no Jeff. At sunrise, beneath harsh fluorescent lights, Grace entered the world. Her first cry wobbled through the quiet room. And in that sound, I heard something I thought I'd lost. Hope. "You did it, honey," the nurse said, placing my daughter on my chest. "She's perfect." Tears streamed silently down my face as I cradled Grace, fiercely protective of this new, tiny life. The first hours of motherhood passed in a blur of exhaustion, stitches, and paperwork. I drifted in and out of sleep, clinging to Grace's warmth, haunted by the emptiness at my side. Each time the room phone rang, hope flickered. Maybe Jeff would appear, contrite. But only automated calls and nurses asking about discharge. Details broke the silence. The door opened with a quiet knock on the second day. Not Jeff, not a nurse. Marie Clark, my mother-in-law, stood uncertainly in the doorway, her wispy gray hair bundled up against the cold, her coat dusted with sleet. "Oh, Lauren, there you are," she said softly, crossing the room and setting down a battered travel mug. She hesitated only briefly before leaning over to gaze at Grace, wrapped snug in her hospital blanket. "Did you come to see Jeff?" I asked, my voice small and tired. He hasn't shown up." A gentle sadness crossed Marie's face. She didn't try to hide it. "I know, sweetheart, but I came to see you. And Grace, of course. I'm so sorry. I wish this was different." I blinked back tears. "You didn't know. None of this is your fault, Marie." She sat on the edge of the bed and took my free hand in both of hers, warm and steady. "I did know, Lauren. Not about Natalie, not the details. But I saw Jeff. I saw the distance, the coldness. I tried to talk to him. God knows I did. I raised him better than this." She squeezed my hand. "You and Grace? Well, your family. You're always family, no matter what he's done." I couldn't speak, my throat tight with sorrow and unexpected relief. "I brought you coffee," Marie continued, nodding toward the travel mug. "Hospital stuff is dreadful. Tyler from the front desk snuck me in. I told him I wasn't leaving until I saw you." "Thank you," I managed, smiling weakly. "For coming, for all of this." For the first time since everything fell apart, I didn't feel completely alone. 2 days later, I was wheeled out of Mount Sinai with Grace swaddled in my arms and Marie holding the diaper bag like protective armor. Outside, the city remained gray and frozen. Marie insisted on paying for the taxi home. Inside my apartment, our apartment, now just mine. The silence was broken only by the beeping of the baby monitor and occasional ice cracking against the windows. Marie stayed for 3 days, cooking soup, folding tiny onesies, humming lullabies she'd once sung to Jeff. She moved carefully around my grief, but was present for every breakdown, every 2 a.m., feeding, every sudden burst of tears. On the 4th day, Marie packed her overnight bag. "Call me if you need anything at all. Love. If you want to come out to Oakville for a weekend, we'd love to have you and Grace. She needs a dose of the suburbs. Thank you, Marie, and I said, meaning it deeply. And for standing by me, for not picking sides. I am picking sides, Lauren, she replied firmly. I'm picking the side of the strong woman raising my granddaughter. We shared a long hug, the kind that acknowledges what's been lost, but also what remains. The following weeks blurred together in a haze of sleeplessness. I stumbled through newborn routines, diapers, midnight bottles, walking countless laps around the kitchen with Grace screaming against my shoulder. Outside, Toronto continued. Its rhythms, streetcars rumbling, lights flickering, laundromats opening and closing, while inside our apartment, I learned the hard way what rebuilding meant. Each night, after Grace finally fell asleep, I opened my work laptop. The emails waited. Kind, hope the baby's great. See you soon. Messages from coworkers, automated reminders from HR about maternity leave paperwork. Bills piled up. Rent came due. Jeff's name on the lease stung like salt in a fresh wound. But small moments of kindness appeared. Texts from Marie, a gift card from my neighbor, a surprise package of baby clothes from my university roommate in Calgary, each one a tiny lifeline. 6 months passed quickly. My return to work loomed, a necessity more than a choice as savings dwindled. The day arrived with stomach-churning anxiety. I rode the elevator to the 21st floor, my body still unfamiliar, my mind racing with worries about Grace at her new daycare. At my glass-walled cubicle, a generic welcome banner from HR hung limply, accompanied by a box of Tim Hortons donuts and a book about work-life balance. My old friend from IT, Tyler, caught me at the coffee station. "Hey, Lauren, you survived mat leave," he said, then lowered his voice. "I heard they're reorganizing, big shakeups." "Anything I should worry about?" I asked, trying to hide my anxiety. Tyler leaned closer. "Word is, Jeff's been promoted, Director of Operations. He's 2 levels up now. And, Natalie's on his team." Cold dread flooded my veins. Of course she is. Throughout that morning, I noticed the stares and whispers. HR emails marked urgent filled my inbox. I moved through meetings in a fog, aware that everything I did was being scrutinized, measured not just against my past performance, but against Jeff's current status. Late that afternoon, as rain spattered the windows, I received a Teams invite from Amira Patel, Senior VP, intimidating and revered throughout the company. Her office was lined with books on leadership, philosophy, and diversity in tech. She gestured for me to sit. "Lauren." "Welcome back. How's Grace?" she asked, surprising me with her personal touch. "She's perfect," I answered honestly. "Smart, loud, everything." Amira smiled briefly. "And good. Listen, I'd like you to lead the Phoenix project. It's high risk, high visibility. You'd be point on delivery, managing a cross-functional team, and a lot of eyes will be on you, and on me, for picking you." My voice nearly caught as I realized what this meant. Both opportunity and test. Why me? Amira leaned forward. "Because you're the most resilient person on this floor. I've watched you, Lauren. I know it hasn't been easy, but that grit, I want it in my corner. Do you?" I paused only briefly. "Yes, I do." "Good. You start Monday." I left her office with my heart pounding, fear and hope tangled together. I'd been given a chance, but I knew many were waiting to see me fail. The Phoenix project was a restart after the previous quarter's disastrous product launch. I studied the files obsessively, color-coding priorities and mapping timelines. My team consisted of 4 engineers, 2 marketing leads, and 1 QA specialist, most strangers to each other, many skeptical of my leadership. At our kickoff meeting, I arrived early, watching them trickle in. Sarah, my junior with dark circles under her eyes but sharp insights. Tyler from IT, awkward but brilliant. Malik in QA, stone-faced but meticulous. And 2 marketing specialists, Gina and Danny, both more interested in their phones than the project. I clicked my pen and took a deep breath. All right, everyone. Thanks for making time. I know it's a lot, and I want to respect your schedules. The Phoenix Project is our chance to rebuild after last quarter's meltdown. It's an opportunity to create something significant, but only if we listen to each other, collaborate, and have each other's backs. No one gets thrown under the bus on my watch. I made eye contact with each team member, searching for any spark of investment. You really mean that? Sarah asked, her voice cautiously hopeful. Absolutely. We rise together, or we don't rise at all. The atmosphere shifted subtly. Postures straightened. The room felt less hostile. But outside our team space, the sabotage began almost immediately. My calendar was double booked, with conflicting urgent stakeholder reviews. I overheard whispers by the kitchenette, my name, fragments about being still on mom brain, and more spread too thin. An email chain about Phoenix, meant for leadership only, somehow circulated to the entire company, complete with Jeff's passive-aggressive comment, "Let's hope the relaunch doesn't deliver the same as last quarter's failed rollout." The subtext was unmistakable. One afternoon, Sarah burst into my office, eyes red-rimmed. "My sister's daycare just called. I have to go. I'm sorry, I can't keep up. Amy from HR just reminded me about flex time, but said Phoenix can't have any more delays." I set aside my own panic. "Family comes first. Log off and I'll cover. We promised not to throw each other under the bus, remember?" Sarah hesitated, tears threatening. "Why are they trying to make us fail?" "And because success in this company shouldn't just belong to people who make the most noise," I told her, squeezing her hand. "We're going to show them that." After she left, I checked my phone to find a new Slack notification from Jeff. "Reminder, Phoenix is 2 days behind milestone. Please update me ASAP on risks and mitigations. CC, Amira, HR, product." I gripped my phone, anger mixing with determination as I wrote back. "Hi Jeff, happy to present our latest roadmap and how we're overcoming blockers. Would you be available for a team review, public and on record, tomorrow at noon?" I knew he wouldn't show. Bullies prefer shadows to sunlight. That night, I hosted a late Zoom call with everyone on the Phoenix team, including those on the West Coast and in India. "Let's be honest," I began. "They don't want us to succeed. But if we get Phoenix off the ground, if we break revenue targets and deliver, they can't ignore us. Anyone with ideas, speak up." Tyler unmuted, his face half lit by monitor glow. "I found the server bug that keeps trashing our QA build. If management lets me work in the prod box for a day, I can patch it. No red tape." Gina added, "I know someone at Maple Leaf Ads who owes me a favor. She can give us a boost, maybe get us extra conversion data. But I can't expense it. We'll have to do this off the books." "If anyone gets pushback from upstairs, route it to me," Malik offered. "I'll take the flak. I'm a contractor. Worst they can do is not renew me." Something new was forming. A team united not by hierarchy but by shared resistance. "And let's move quietly," I told them. "Document everything. Help each other. Trust before anything else." For the first time in months, I felt myself truly smile. Over the next month, I balanced daycare drop-offs, deployment deadlines, and too many nights of instant ramen for dinner. Jeff's criticisms grew sharper. Oblique digs in leadership meetings, comments that I preferred soft skills to hard deadlines. During one Thursday all-hands meeting, Jeff called me out in front of the executives. "Lauren, walk us through Phoenix's forecast. The original projections look, ambitious, given your team's track record. Anything you want to tell the board?" A tense silence fell. All eyes turned to me, waiting for me to crumble. I straightened my shoulders, kept my voice calm. Absolutely. We set ambitious goals, but we also believe in transparency. Tyler, can you screen share the data from last night's QA run? Tyler shared his screen, all metrics glowing green. It's not perfect, but we're ahead of schedule, I continued. And more importantly, everyone on this call knows exactly how we got here. No secrets, no shortcuts. After a pause, Amira spoke. Well done, Lauren. Jeff, any further questions? Jeff's jaw tightened visibly. No, that's all. Thank you. Outside the office windows, I could almost smell spring coming to the city, snow melting into potholes. Toronto was thawing, ever so slightly. Home presented a different kind of battlefield. Grace, now a hurricane of toddler. Energy eyes dumped spaghetti on the floor and screamed when her favorite Anna doll disappeared into the laundry. I balanced budgets, wiped tears, and answered urgent Slack messages while heating fish sticks with my free hand. During a video call with Marie, who listened patiently as I vented about work politics, she offered to come to the city on weekends to help. You don't have to do it all alone, sweet girl, she said. Let me help. Thanks, I told her, my gratitude genuine. You're the one part of this mess I never want to lose. You're more of a Clark than my own son these days, she replied softly. I laughed despite myself, tears stinging my eyes. One evening, Tyler messaged me, need to talk. Check your email, urgent. In my personal inbox, I found a forwarded email chain. It was from Jeff to HR, describing my not emotional instability and a potential for burnout, suggesting I be moved to a less critical project for the sake of Phoenix's delivery date. He sent this thinking I'd back him up, Tyler wrote. I told him I'd only talk directly to you. My heart pounded as I copied the email to a secure folder, forwarded it to Amira, and called Sarah. I need backup. Are you in? Lauren, always, she answered without hesitation. Let's take him down. That night, I gathered every piece of evidence, every slander, every gaslighting memo Jeff had sent over the past 2 months. I prepared for war. Friday morning, Amira called me into a meeting with HR. Jeff was already there, looking cornered in the glass-walled conference room. Let's get to the bottom of this, Amira said calmly. Lauren, you have the floor? I presented the email trail methodically, outlining the pattern of sabotage, the rumors, the double-booked meetings, the attempts to have me removed. Amira remained silent, letting the evidence speak for itself. Jeff, do you have anything to say? The HR director asked finally. It was just concern for the project timeline, he stammered, his usual confidence cracking. I never meant... You meant exactly what you wrote, I interrupted, my voice steady. I've done this project and done it well. This is about your ego, not Phoenix. The silence that followed felt like a verdict. We'll be conducting a full review, Amira announced. Effective immediately, Jeff. Please step back from all oversight of Phoenix. Lauren, you'll report directly to me from now on. Meeting adjourned. I walked out with my heart hammering, wounded but finally seen. Later that day, I stood by the espresso machine in the break room, feeling the ripple effects of the morning's confrontation. People met my eyes differently now, with respect, with acknowledgement of what I'd endured. Tyler approached, awkward as always, but with new admiration in his voice. That was epic. No one's ever stood up to Jeff like that. I heard Amira wants us to restart Phoenix, but for real this time. I glanced at our team's workspace, where Sarah and Gina were enthusiastically sketching new project plans while Malik debated analytics with Danny. Let's give them something they'll never forget, I said. Tyler grinned. I used to think only the loudest people got ahead here. Guess I was wrong. Turns out, showing up and doing the work pays off. Eventually, my phone vibrated with an email from Amira Subject line, ready to fly? I smiled, genuinely this time. The next 6 months were a blur of focused effort. Mornings meant packing Grace's lunch and managing quick, reassuring hugs at daycare drop-off. Days filled with meetings, brainstorming sessions, and putting out fires. Evenings, after Grace fell asleep, I reviewed budgets and troubleshot coding issues with Tyler over Zoom, pausing only when our brains needed pizza fuel. My kitchen table became command central, covered in schedules and feedback notes. Sarah stepped up as our voice for flexibility and mental health. Malik revolutionized our QA process. Gina leveraged her advertising connection for targeted campaigns that drove traffic overnight. Tyler's server fix not only stabilized our system, but created unexpected cost savings. I documented everything transparently, successes and failures alike, building routines that spread across the team. Stakeholders who once ignored me began attending our updates, asking for advice. Words like adaptive, model project, and team to beat floated through leadership meetings. Meanwhile, Jeff's presence faded. An email from HR mentioned he was on sabbatical. His influence waned as our momentum built. At home, Grace's milestones intertwined with each professional victory. Her first steps coincided with our first successful test deployment. Her giggles during FaceTime with Marie accompanied late-night breakthroughs. There were moments when exhaustion threatened to overwhelm me, but each time doubt crept in, I remembered that hospital room, the silence that nearly consumed me, and found the strength to push forward. I wasn't that woman anymore. Autumn arrived with crisp air and golden light. Phoenix launched exactly on schedule, outperforming every metric. Industry websites picked up the story. Toronto tech startup rewrites the playbook against all odds. One November morning, I received a calendar invite, nominees luncheon, company leadership award. Scanning the list, I found my name. My hands trembled slightly. The nomination came with a note from Amira. You didn't just deliver a product, Lauren. You built a team, a process, and a safe space for people to be brave. That's leadership. Word spread quickly. Congratulations, envy, and shock flowing through office channels. Marie sent flowers. Grace insisted the bouquet belonged on her coloring table. Sarah, Tyler, Gina, and Malik presented me with a tiny golden phoenix pin during a late brainstorming session over Thai takeout. I couldn't have done any of this before, not under Jeff, Tyler admitted. Thanks for letting me be me. You all taught me just as much, I replied, genuinely moved. The more, probably. Think you'll need a speech? Malik joked. I shrugged, but my smile revealed hope. I've got a lot to say. For once, I think they might actually listen. The week before the awards gala, rumors circulated that Jeff had returned. He was seeking a lateral move, no longer in management, possibly in projects or partnerships. Some whispered about him making amends. Others suspected a legal complaint had been filed. Among my team, the mood was quietly triumphant. An email arrived from Jeff with a bare subject line. Can we talk? I stared at the screen, considering my response carefully before typing. I'm open to a conversation, but not about the past, only about the project. Boundaries are important to me now. His reply came quickly, stilted and professional. He'd clearly read the room. The morning of the awards ceremony, I stopped at a small cafe near the office, a hidden gem I'd frequented before everything changed. I needed a quiet moment to center myself. While waiting for my latte, I felt a familiar presence. Jeff stood behind me in line, his suit pressed, hands fumbling with his wallet. Lauren, I was hoping I'd see you, he said quietly. My heart quickened, but I refused to show it. Jeff, here for the gala? Yeah, company wants everyone to show support. He paused. I heard you're up for the big one. Congratulations." His tone carried regret. But I wouldn't be drawn in. And thank you. It was a team effort. Jeff lowered his voice. I know I made things impossible. I'm sorry. I thought winning, climbing, it would fix how lost I felt. I was wrong. You didn't deserve what I did. For a moment, I considered the weight of everything, the sleepless nights, the tears, the struggle, then consciously let it go. I know who I am now. Jeff, I hope you find that for yourself. I took my coffee and left, stepping into crisp autumn sunshine, feeling lighter than I had in years. That evening, the ballroom of the Fairmont Royal York sparkled with elegant lighting. Laughter and the soft click of heels echoed against marble floors. When my name was called for the Company Leadership Award, applause thundered through the room. My team cheered loudest, Sarah's voice rising above the rest. I walked to the stage with measured steps, heart full, chin high. Glancing toward the back, I spotted Jeff, standing alone, looking both proud and profoundly out of place. But the night held one final surprise. Just before closing, the CEO approached the podium as a hush fell across the room. Tonight, for the first time, we're introducing a new distinction, the Phoenix Spirit Award, for resilience, integrity, and elevating those around you. This year's inaugural recipient, nominated unanimously by her team, is Lauren Clark. My breath caught. Looking at Sarah, Gina, Malik, and Tyler, I saw them beaming and applauding wildly. As I returned to the stage, stunned, I realized this recognition meant more than corporate validation. It was acknowledgement from those who had walked the hardest path with me. I accepted the award with gratitude, sharing the moment visually, with my team, silently dedicating it to Grace, and, most importantly, to myself. The next morning, Toronto basked in gentle sunshine, the air crisp but kind. I sat on a park bench at Trinity Bellwoods, watching Grace giggle at ducks. In the pond, the phoenix pin glinting on my jacket, Marie joined us, arms full of snacks, settling beside me with a contented sigh. "How does it feel?" she asked. Not like victory, more like arrival, like I've finally learned what home means. Wherever Grace and I happen to be, I'm not afraid of starting over anymore. "You built something they couldn't take from you," Marie observed. "Family, respect, self-worth." I nodded, smiling as Grace chased a butterfly, her future unfolding in possibilities neither limited by others' expectations nor defined by past betrayals. My phone buzzed with a message from Sarah. Coffee at lunch. Just us, team to team. Pocketing my phone, I felt a warmth that had nothing to do with the sunshine. Betrayal hurt. Of course it did. But it also created space for resilience, for new connections, for my daughter's laughter. I once thought my story ended the night I was left alone. It turned out that was only the beginning. And this time, I was writing every word. What did you think of the story? Leave a comment telling us about your experience and rate this story from 0 to 10. We want to know about you. 2 buttons will appear on the screen, one to subscribe, if you haven't already, and another to watch another interesting story. Choose one. Thanks for watching this far. See you soon.